are going against society's expectations when you get into shape. Society doesn't really have expectations for you. And I know what someone is thinking, well, that's actually fucking good because they're just gonna stay off my back. I don't want them to have any expectations. I would rather just be low key and just have them stay off my back, which, hey, look, I'm not even gonna argue with you. You don't want someone on your back all the time, right? You don't want somebody constantly pressuring you. But the thing about it is, because the expectations are so low, it's gonna bite you in the ass later on. This is why we hear a lot about the male lonely crisis, and a lot of men still living at home with their parents, and they're in their late 30s, and they're having trouble, you know, not being able to get married and stuff. And a lot of guys just on default just blame women. Okay, a lot of guys just go to the default and blame women's high standards. Now, yes, some of these chicks have no business having high standards that they do. But the fact of the matter is, that wouldn't happen without thirsty men. There wouldn't be a supply if there was no demand, right? So if the chick that's a quote unquote 3 on a scale, right? If the chick that looked like Shrek's wife, Fiona, wasn't getting attention, then she wouldn't have high standards like that. But unfortunately, they do, and not just by one guy, but by multiple guys. Now, are these guys of high caliber, high quality? Of course not. Because no Chatter Tyrone is going to be trying to wife up Fiona. But let's be honest, guys are still going to hit. Okay? But society's expectations are what? Their expectations are for you to look like Doug Heffernan off of King of Queens. If you guys know that show is freaking hilarious. You know, it shows us the prototypical, stereotypical doofus man that can't, you know, is just incompetent and most of all just out of shape, eats like a child, behaves like a child, and it's a fictional character. A lot of guys might be like, that's fiction. Yes, it's fiction. At the same time, though, this is programming. This is how they depict men. This is how they want men to be depicted, right? This is the message that they want. They want to depict men as these fat, you know, he's in a relationship, so now he has to get a dad bod. The whole dad, it just keeps going back to dad bods, man. I can make 20,000 videos talking about the damn dad bod and how that crap is propaganda, right? Yeah, he's in a relationship with this hot chick and he has a dad bod because, hey, what's the message here? He got her already. She loves him even though he's a out of shape doofus. And that's pretty much, you know, society's expectation on men, the Western man. And that's how they want you to look and behave. And by you getting into shape, by you getting lean, getting jacked, you are going to start going against those norms. You're going to start going against those societal norms, and you're going to be like an alien, right? And I'm not talking about an undocumented alien, okay, that is facing ICE persecution. I'm talking about you're just going to look like an alien because you're going to be in shape and everybody looks like Peter Griffin, okay? Everybody looks like Doug Heffernan off of King of Queens. If you don't know who Doug Heffernan is, I know some of you younger guys might not know that show, King of Queens. Actually a hilarious show. Used to love that show. Kevin James, that's the guy's name. He's hilarious. He's fucking hilarious. But the fact remains is, as hilarious as the show is, it just kind of, I was sitting back and I was really watching it, and I'm like, this is how they depict men. You know, me being a overthinking dork nerd that I am, that's how I started looking at this. I'm like, bro, why these shows always have a common trend? Peter Griffin, The Simpsons, Doug Heffernan off of King of Queens, Everybody Loves Raymond, right? They show every single dad on these movies as a dum-dum that's fat and out of shape, right? You start seeing a trend, and then you're like, you know what? This might be a little more than just pure entertainment. This might be some kind of propaganda for real. When people think of propaganda, they think of you know, some kind of government wartime propaganda, like Republican or Democrat or something like that. This is propaganda too, fellas. This is literally propaganda, and it's propaganda towards men. It's propaganda towards what men, you know, kind of priming men into thinking that this shit is okay. And I know what someone is thinking still. That's just entertainment. You watch too much TV. You guys don't realize how powerful media is. Media sways the masses. You guys don't understand how powerful. I'm gonna get metaphysical here for a minute. You guys don't understand how powerful media is, whether it be music, whether it be TV, and especially social media. I can't even really say TV anymore. I gotta say social media and Netflix. You know, you look at Netflix, all of these shows have some sort of rainbow type of agenda. No offense. I'm just saying there's definitely some agendas thrown in there. Not saying anything against anyone's orientation, but we have a couple of agendas. The goofy ass out of shape dad, right? The effeminate man. Okay? I'm not saying you gotta be some rough and tough alpha, quote unquote, but you know, men shouldn't be like these effeminate or out of shape, you know, just kind of being this out of shape goofy in a relationship. Not saying that they should be a tyrant either, but golly, but that's the expectation. When you start getting into shape, when you start getting leaner, I've been talking about getting leaner now. If you guys been following me for a minute, you guys might have noticed that I'm starting to talk about getting leaner all of a sudden. And that is because for me personally, and not personally because this really isn't even about me. It's about you guys too. You look all over YouTube and you're seeing a whole bunch of videos about getting lean. And I couldn't agree more. This is why I'm starting to make more lean oriented videos, because all lean is, simply put, is lower fat and higher muscle mass. Lower fat, lower excess fat, okay? Lower visceral fat. And if you guys don't know what visceral means, visceral is that very dangerous fat, the unnecessary. Before someone says, well, you need fat, yes, and healthy amounts. You know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 60, 70, 100, 150 pounds of excess fat. Guys, even 10 pounds, let me tell you something, even 10 pounds is going to make a hell of a difference. 10 pounds will make a world of difference. If you're 10 pounds overweight, I'll give you a challenge. Lose those 10 pounds and watch how your face even starts looking more different. Now, if you're 100 pounds overweight, I'm not talking to you, because you're not going to see results. After losing 10 pounds, you're not going to look like Magic Mike all of a sudden, okay? I'm talking to guys that are like 15 to 20 pounds overweight, you know, something like that. Lose like 10 to 15 pounds of that excess fat. Watch how your clothes and your face, for all the jaw guys, you feel me? You watch how they start improving. And you're going to be going against society. You're going to be going against what people think a man is. That's why, bro, when you start losing weight, when you start changing up your habits, you know, if you were a big back snack attack type of guy, and you would always just grab the first thing and just shove it in your face. Ooh, this dust getting in. Man, this is how country this is, man. This dust coming from the window getting in my damn eye. But if you're the type of guy that would just grab anything and just cram it down your face, you know, you grabbing all the cookies, all the gummies, gummy bears, all the gummy worms, all the Skittles, you know, all the brownies, all those little snacky snacks in the packages, and all of a sudden you start changing up, you will see people are going to start commenting. You're going to see people start commenting stuff, and a lot of times not to discourage you guys, because this is the hero's journey, okay? You're gonna go, you gotta crawl through the mud before you find that damn, or that was a bad analogy, dog. You gotta be covered in coal before you get to that damn diamond, right? Meaning you gotta be through the dirt, through the trenches. You gotta hit rock bottom first to get to the top. That's just how life goes. The journey up top, or not even journey up top, I don't want you guys thinking I'm trying to sound like this fucking egotistical, oh, the journey to the top. But you guys get what I'm saying though, right? You guys get what I'm saying. That journey up to a better life, to a healthier life, it's gonna come with some pushback. You know, your own family, like, it sucks. A lot of you guys have the most unsupportive ass family, and I've seen it before with my own eyes. It's really disheartening. Like, damn, my own family members are going up against me. Yes, it's unfortunate your own family members are gonna talk shit. You know, don't start weighing out food. And a lot of people say you don't have to track your macros, you don't have to weigh your food. And you could follow those guys, sure, you could follow them if you want to. I'm telling you this, you want to see results, tracking your macros, weighing out your food is going to expedite that shit by light years, because you have to reprogram yourself. This whole thing is a reprogram. You're literally going against what you've been taught. You're literally going against the whole, oh, it's okay, just, you know, everything's gonna be all right. Pretty much society's coddling you, so you never get a chance to mature and grow, right? But when you're weighing out that food, you're reprogramming yourself. Now you see what you're taking in. See, this world is all information, and food is nothing but information. I know I just made it sound like the most nerdiest shit. Food is information. Food has 3 macronutrients. Not every single food, but the 3 macronutrients: carbs, protein, fat. Those are all information your body takes and acts accordingly, right? When you start doing that, people are going to look at you sideways. Your own family members, okay? Your own family members are going to make snarky ass comments. Your drunk ass uncle is going to start making comment, even though he looks like absolute dog crap, right? Your mom, she might make comments as much as she loves you. And some of you guys have supportive moms, right? Like, my mama is an angel. I don't talk about my family too much, but I got to give a shout out to my family, man. I'm glad. I love all my peoples. They're angels, man. But I know some of you guys have, sorry to say, shitty support systems when it comes to family. You know, your mama might even start commenting, not in a bad way, but she's not used to seeing you doing all that. She might start making comments like, what are you doing? You know, is this healthy? And she's gonna be like, you're doing too much. That's because you're going against what she's used to seeing you as. You're going against what she's used to seeing men in general as. Your pops, no offense, I know y'all might love your pops, or you might not, but your pops was probably mad out of shape as well. Let's just be quite honest. You know, are we being real here or not? Your dad was probably mad out of shape, married your mom, and just called it quits. Only like 5% of the you know, if you look at these kids, you look at their parents, 95%, it just goes to say, you know, the whole Doug Heffernan syndrome, the Peter Griffin syndrome, all of them look like Peter Griffin. Almost all of them. And it's like, their little boy, if they have a boy, he's got nothing positive to go by. The little boy watching these athletes, right? Even though the little boy is going to grow up to be overweight as well, but he's watching these athletes in awe. And his dad is like 50 pounds overweight. So now you're going against everything you've been told. You're going against the Peter Griffin syndrome. And your mom is like, what the hell? You know, even your mama, your friends, you're going to have to, I've talked about this ad nauseum. You are going to have to lose your fucking loser ass friends, dog. I'm not even going to, look, I'm not even gonna be nice about it. I'm not gonna be pleasant about it. You have to lose your friends. A lot of people want to be like, oh, you know, try to understand where they're coming from. No, you don't. It's not your obligation. Okay, they might very well be misguided. They might very well be curious, or not. I'm not even gonna say curious, because that's not the case most of the time, right? But they might very well just be like, what the hell is he doing? Like, they might be just wondering. That's not your business though, because instead of them, you know, supporting you, a lot of times, I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times, they're gonna be talking down. They're like, oh man, come on, man. What? Come on, have some wings with us. Have these glizzies with us. Have these hamburgers and hot dogs and all that type of shit. You feel me? And you're gonna have to fucking drop them. It's not your job to be trying to explain and describe and sit down with them and have a talk with them and tell them, oh man, you know, this is me, this is the new me, you know, man, fuck that. Let them go. You know, let them go. You're not obligated. And that's another thing about society. Everybody wants you to be this understanding nice guy when you're doing this shit. I've heard a lot of videos, try to be understanding towards your friends. They're not understanding towards you. Now, if they are, right? If you happen to have the type of friends that are supportive, and like I said, hey, if you see that they genuinely are asking you because they're curious, maybe they have a weight problem, and maybe they're trying to see what you're doing. Oh yeah, of course. If they want your help and opinions on what to do, by all means, if they're the type of friend that is actually about some shit. Okay, I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking about the malicious want to keep you down because they don't want to see you excel friends, quote unquote. They're not understanding. They're not being nice to you. You know, are they being nice? Are they being nice when they're making comments and, oh, look at him, he eating healthy. I could never eat like that. No one asked you what you can never eat like. Not trying to look like you, right? They're not understanding. So anyway, with that being said, hope you guys have a good day. Peace.